What a bitch to get off. Right, I've just completed my list. Well, come to unit today and there's about fucking 15 spiders on me chuffing tripod, man. Little bastards, all little money spiders. Money, money, money. Maybe we're gonna be rich. Guess we'll just share it with them for now. Bastards. Now then, YouTube, welcome to another video. Not too sure what this video is going to be all about, to be honest, because I've got loads of little jobs to do, really. I've got nothing big to do that we could really pin the video on, but the first job that I'm going to do is the tandem pump gasket. In my video taking the gearbox off the Audi, a couple of people commented saying that you know, it could be a tandem pump gasket. I was like, why didn't I think of that? I even bought this at the same time as buying the rocker cover gasket, and I was going to do it at the same time, but I thought I was that convinced that it was the rocker cover gasket that I thought, oh, I'll just leave that because it's never going to be that. But yeah, it would make more sense as to why the leak is still there. So first job, get the car jacked up or lift the ramp up, and we'll get in behind where the tandem pump is. And I'm pretty sure it's only a couple of Allen head bolts. Can't remember if it's M8 or M6, but yeah, it's not a big job this, and doing it from behind will be a new thing as well. You know, she never lets me normally do it from behind, but because we've got the gearbox off, then we can get his hand right up there. Right, so we're under the car, as you can see from this fantastic welding. Tandem pump is right at the back of the engine, it runs off the cam. This is not going to be fun, because you can see the oil actually. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Obviously I've just got the steel pressed gasket, that's the only one I've got. I've not got the full kit, so hopefully that'll help. I'll solve it. Hopefully it's the right one even, because there's a couple of different tandem pumps on these. I think I bought the right one, but don't know yet. She's sexy like. I ain't got any latex gloves either, they're all like plastic ones where all, you know, they're alright for holding stuff and that, but grease and shit will get through. Obviously all fucking latex ones are all sold out everywhere now, because they're all fucking daft going to co-op with them, so I will have to get these a bit greasy, I imagine. I've only just bought these new as well, fresh bastards, but they're probably going to get greased up and fucked. But it's £1.40 I'll never get back. I want to show you something, but it's going to be quite difficult for me to show you, but I'll try. So I've given this a little bit of a clean, hope you can notice. Yeah, it looks tasty, doesn't it? Yep, nice. So if we look up, and I'm just taking the bolts out now for the tandem pump. Oh yeah, that's fucking real bright. Now I was just looking up there, and as you're looking up you might notice there's a little sensor here. And I think it's possibly the oil pressure switch, unconfirmed, but it's got a circlip on it which is on sideways. Can you see that? That little plastic circlip should definitely be over to the left on that bottom channel, so that could be another area for the oil leak. I mean, it's all the way around where that sensor is, so maybe it could be that as well. But I'll carry on, I'll put that clip on properly, I'll change this tandem pump gasket and change this bastard here, the main seal. Hopefully we'll be no more leaky. Well, yeah, I just thought that was worth mentioning. Hopefully it's that then. But if we do the combination of the three things, then these fucking spiders are still... Like, this all happened overnight. Loads of webs and loads of little money spider little bastards. What do you want? Just give me some good luck today, chaps, that's all. You can stay for free if I have some good luck. Wasn't any easy really from underneath. You could see one of the bolts that you couldn't perhaps see from up here, but other than that, I think that's the last hose. So she's nearly out. So I decided to take the tandem pump off altogether. Now, I did say earlier that I had a gasket for this that I've had for a while, and there was a reason why I didn't change it, I'd just forgotten until now. What a bitch to get off. Proper little slag. There's still a bit of diesel in it, but there's two like M6 bolts which are not too bad to get to, but these little M5 ones at the bottom, diesel everywhere. They're right twats to get to. And even with having the box off and being able to get up the back and all that, I still had to struggle like bollocks. Bit of a pain in the arse, but if you're interested in how this works, when diesel stops flowing. If you're interested in how this works, that there goes on the end of the camshaft and it just fucking pumps. So the reason that I took it off, it wasn't just to look at it, it was because I noticed something else which has failed. Now remember, this is the one that goes to the master cylinder, or This is the one that does the vacuum for the brakes. Now on my A4 I had some poor performing brakes and I tried everything to figure out what it was, and it ended up being this. Because it's vacuum and it can leak, that results in having poor brakes. Now I never noticed the brakes being poor on this, but as we've got this part out in his hand, it's something that we may as well fix while we've got it out. And the way I fixed this last time was by taking this off altogether, cleaning it all up, and then just surrounding the outside with chemical metal so that it could no longer do that and air couldn't get in and out. So let me go and see if I've still got some of that chemical metal left, because I think that was the last time I used it. Okay, I got the fuel pump in the old Vicer Rooney and given it a little bit of a clean. I've also found my chemical metal, and I don't know what the shelf life or the half-life or whatever of this product is. It did actually come from Kipax though, ASK, same place where the Audi came from. Ooh, it's all coming together. So hopefully this is still liquid, or however it works, can't remember. This might be the last one for the old plastic pudding. Well, that did it. That fucking did it. She's free. Okay, we're nearly ready to get smooshy. Don't worry about perfection, because it's not worrying about you. Oh, it's gone a bit more messy than what I thought, lads. Is it now when you're trying to make it neat and you just make it fucking messy? Try and stop it looking so furry. So stunning and brave. So yeah, it's not meant to look pretty, but as long as it shuts that gap up. I can't remember how long you're supposed to leave this to dry, and like I say, I've lost instructions. This just tells you how to be safe with it, which is no fun. So I guess we'll just leave this and do something else for a little bit. I'm not in a rush to put this back together, to be honest, anyway. It was the right twat. Right, well this has been sat about an hour now, and I have tidied up, so thanks for noticing. It's not very neat, it's about as neat as my welding. As long as there's no holes, that's the main thing. I've got a new hose clamp just for the end of that. So I'm going to fit it now, as it is, not connect this hose yet. I might just leave that hose connection till, you know, one of the last things we do with the car, just put it next to it, hopefully don't forget about it. But yeah, we're going to get the rest of the pump back in. It's going to be a pain, so I'm not going to do any videoing, but once this is back in the car, then I have actually got some more jobs to do on the MR2. You'll be pleased to know. Most of this is irrelevant now, so we might have to do a to-do list, just so I know exactly everything that I need to do just before we go racing. Which, you know, could be in a couple of months, it could be next year, but we'll make a list so that we know. Let's get this bastard back on first though. Just wanted to say that I like these gaskets on the tandem pump, because there's a little tab at the bottom which bends round. Holds it on all nice and tight, look. Right, the tandem pump is back in on the Audi. Yes, it did take ages, and yes, it is very fiddly, but it's done. So we've got a new gasket on that, and perhaps even putting that circlip back on properly. That was on the oil pressure switch, might have also fixed his oil leak, maybe. I'm pretty sure that one side was on, so it might have been alright that, but less than ideal, and it's all fixed now. So Audi's looking promising. Still some hours left in the day, and there's a few jobs to do on here. First off, now I know a real easy one that I'm going to do first. Watch what happens when I press my rain light switch. Yep, absolutely nothing. So, give me 2 minutes. Right, that's another jobs. Now we need to make a list. Right, so I've got a mighty list here, but most of this stuff can come off it. There's just going to be loads of little shit to do left. That's done. That's done. That's done. That's done. Oh shit. That's done. Door cards. I can stay with a question mark. So, most of this list's pretty redundant now. So I'm going to wipe it all off and start a new one. Right, I've just completed my list. I'm going to walk you through the list, so I hope you're comfortable. We'll just wait for gals to stop. Third one, cockpit extinguisher. Now I've had to fit a fire extinguisher in this car. That's because of MSA regulations and rules. In case of me being on fire really bad, Marshall should be able to pull a cord and activate my extinguisher, which will cover my engine bay and the interior, and there's no real way you can get around this, but it'll just cover everything in extinguishing. So we'll hopefully never have to do that, but it's something that could happen. And then last but not least, blue passenger mirror. Someone commented on a previous video wanting me to put a blue passenger mirror on, because I've got a blue driver's mirror, a blue roof, but then everything else is black. And I quite like that idea, but it's definitely going to have to be the last task. If we get everything else done, I'll do that. I think it'll look pretty cool anyway, or it'll certainly look more like it's got blue accents on purpose rather than just I couldn't find a black roof or whatever. Right, so what things can we do today? Because we've got a couple of hours left. Well, we've got about an hour left of the day. And pick one. Cockpit extinguishers. Let's put our fire extinguisher nozzles in the cockpit. I'll just quickly show you the rear ones. Well, really, the ones that are in the engine bay. So you get 4 for the front and 4 for the back, or 4 for the engine bay and 4 for the cockpit, should I say. I can't remember if I riv nutted. I think they might be riv nuts there, and these are just nut and bolts on this side. This is not as tight as what it could be. I really should have done the T-piece further down and teed it round the back, and then have this line coming up here, which, if we have enough tubing at the end, might look at doing that. But I mean, it's not completely messy. That it could be neater, but you know, it's not an absolute mess. It's not often that your hands are going to be down here anyway. You know, your engine's all over here, so it's not that concerning. But if we've got spare tubing at the end, I might try and make that look a bit neater. But first, let's get that roof off. I've added another thing to the list as well, and that's to paint the interior, should we get time. Just some gloss black on the floor, just to make it look nicer, once everything's in. So, the fire extinguisher. This is obviously quite a big, important part of a race car, and it's something that should be installed properly. Mine came with fitting instructions, that's what I followed for the rear, and that's what we're going to follow for the front as well. So what does it tell us to do? See, I don't like ideas like this, where it's like, just fucking send it. I probably shouldn't be showing you this with everyone hiding their installation guides online, maybe it's top secret, but there we go, these are the better ones. This is the kind of system that we've got, where we've got an extinguisher in the middle, and then, well, I say in the middle, it's down there, and then we've got 4 nozzles in the cockpit, and then 4 nozzles in the engine bay as well. So the engine bay's done, we're happy with that. Now we're going to do the cockpit. Right, I've made a plan. Now, this is no Picasso painting, but it'll maybe give you an idea of what's going down. You can work out this is an MR2. Right, hang on, wait there. Right, you can tell that's an MR2 now, right? This is the front of the car, the back of the car. That's where my 1ZZ is. Now, putting these in is pretty simple. The tubing that you get is a bit like brake lines. Now, I've never done brake lines before, so I had to borrow a cutter tool, but you need a cutter tool, much like a brake line. And then this stuff, you just kind of bend it by hand. It's really easy. So, that's nice. And then the nozzles. So, that's your nozzle. T-pieces, they should be pretty self-explanatory what they do. So when it comes to mounting them, all I've been doing is finding somewhere where it looks like I want them to go, getting a bit of alloy flat bar. I think it's 3mm. I think it's 3mm, but we'll see. And then, yeah, put it in the vise and bending it as tight as I can, because I've been trying to not waste, and I did have to buy a 14mm stepped little drill bit for this as well. I did have a 13mm for the engine bay ones and a wiggle, but for the cockpit we're going to do it properly with a 14mm drill bit. I've made the back two. So this is the one, this is going to sit on our roll cage, and there's a little M6 bolt in the back of it, and that will fire into the cockpit from there. And then this is our little mini one, which is going to fire from just where the handbrake cables go, just behind us, and that will fire into the cabin. So we've got 2 coming from behind, going forwards at 2 slightly different angles, which is good. And then the other 2 are going to be at our feet, one facing towards the torso and kind of top of the legs, and one facing towards the bottom of the legs and the feet. Now there are 2 nice threads that we can use in the centre console kind of area next to the feet. They're both M8 bolts, so I'll have to find some M8 bolts, that's the only thing, I've run out. So other than that, we should be good. So obviously for the M8 bolts, we're going to have to do a 8mm hole in the other side. That's still 14mm everywhere for the nozzles. And all I've been doing with this flat bar, so I've been going up, measuring it up. This is the longest, that's the longest one I've made, and I wasn't too keen about making that, but it's solid. So this alloy that I've got is from a different supplier this time from when I did the engine bay ones, and it has started to show some cracks, but I've just left it. We've bent it as it is. It still feels proper solid, and it's going to take the weight of the nozzle, no problem, but yeah, it's definitely not bent as well as the other stuff. Could potentially heat it up, I guess, to try and make it a neater bend, but because I didn't have to do that the first time, I don't want to do it the second time. I'm going to use my punch this time. I didn't use it on the first two, but on these ones, because I'm videoing it, I'll use a punch to say where I'm going to drill into this bar. Do you want to have a look at the bar? 3, 2, 1. Whoa, God. So yeah, bar's just there. Nope, I don't normally have to. That's precision. You've got to try and get it perpendicular, or else you'll bend it wonky. That's not worked. So that's what we wanted. That's not what we wanted. Hey, but I'll make another one now and not video it, so it'll be mint. Right, we've now got all 4 of our little brackets, but one of them is messed up again. So the one that I was redoing because I messed it up the second time round. I'm going to really struggle to nut anything to that. So that one might need to get redone again for the 3rd time, but that's fine. We've got another bit of flat bar, so you know, I've got a bit of spare. Right, I've got most of the brackets in, just about. Not too sure on these 2 fuckers at the feet. So I've got one basically on my feet and my feet basically, and the other one's kind of aiming towards the driver. And I've got the one here off the side of the roll cage. He's going there, he's going into my side. And then the last one just down there. So now we need to run the tube into it and get the nozzles in. So I've not plumbed anything out of the fire extinguisher yet. There's a little firewall. There's a little firewall connected down there, which you can just about see. So that does run from the back. The back's all done and nice. That's all good. So it's just from the front that there's nothing. So we're not going to start from there though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start from the nozzles. So we'll work his way back from the nozzles back to the extinguisher. Let's see what we can get up to. Hopefully I can make it look neat-ish. I decided to call time on the footsie one. I don't like leaving jobs half done. That's how I end up with not really knowing where I am and then a whiteboard, but I can't even get the nut on there, so I'm going to remake this, but I'm not going to do it now. Right, the last step really is the nice part. It's just connecting the hose. All of these connectors, they're all push fit, and if you need to bend this at all, you can just bend it around your roll cage, so you get that nice bending device here, look, which is all good. So yeah, cut this off. Now it's lined with some kind of like plastic stuff as well, so after you've cut it with this, I just get a razor blade to cut that off. Simples. So now this hose meets this T-piece. Just push it on until it feels tight. It's as easy as that. So then we'll get another little bit to come out of here to go to that nozzle in the middle-ish. That sweet, sweet roll cage bend. Right, now it's time for you to judge me. So I've got everything plumbed in now, other than that T-piece just there forward, which is for the 2 down there, the feet and the body or whatever, those 2 there. So I've got the firewall one in, looking good. The extinguisher itself is now connected on both of its ports. So one of those goes to the back, one of them goes to the front. There's the one that goes to the front. And yeah, 2 lines there. Obviously nothing's P-clipped up yet, it's just kind of pushed towards where I want it to be. If we come behind here, we can see a bit of pipe coming up there, there's a T-piece there, and that could be ever so closer. So that's the good thing about this pipe, you can just play with it. I've not done up the nut either on the front of the nozzle, but I'm pretty happy with that. It's easy to make it look somewhat neat, and I think that's what I've done, hopefully. I think I've made it somewhat neat. Now, like I said about painting the floor, it's just a bit minging, that's all. You know what I mean? I painted where the where my toes go on the driver's seat, but that's about it, because it was proper minging before. But yeah, that's my fire extinguisher. I've got a proper big lad, so I could have got a smaller, a more lightweight fire extinguisher, but they're expensive. I mean, just this kit here was about 260, 70 quid or something, but I got it from Demon Tweaks at Autosport, so I got 20% off. I got it basically VAT free, so it's about 220, so it made it a bit more affordable, and that's why I thought, fuck it, I'll just get a big lad and a branded one, and then hopefully I'll have no issues when it comes to scrutiny or anything like that. These only last 2 years though, until you have to get them serviced, which is a bit tardy. Well, it's not tardy, but you know, it's just part of the parcel really. It's how it goes. So there's a lot of stuff like that when it comes to racing. A lot of stuff has to be in date and checked and all that for safety reasons, which is understandable somewhat. But yeah, that's looking good. So I'm going to leave the front bit like I said. I don't like leaving jobs, but I also do quite leaving jobs half done, because then we get half a race car, which is what we want. Right, I'll put top back on, put things away, and then I'll have a conclusion. You have to make sure you're extra careful when putting your roof back on with those Rogue Motorsport brackets, otherwise you might get some of that. Right, that's us all done for today. So we've got the MR2 a bit more safe, and we've got the Audi a bit less oily. So all in all, a successful day. Yeah, I think it has been. I think we can call it successful. Right, so if you've enjoyed watching, and of course there'll be another one at some point, but we don't know when, so ring the bell.